Welcome to another Premier League predictions video. This is for week 6 of the Premier League, and it's been a busy week. Lots of games and lots of points up for grabs. Let's continue. First game up is Everton and Liverpool. This is a massive game for both sides. Both sides have to win this game. It's the Merseyside derby, where form goes out the window. For Everton, they got a 1-1 draw in midweek against Leeds, and I think they were a little unlucky. Well, no, actually, they probably weren't. The goal I'm thinking about that Leeds scored, that wasn't a deflected goal. The goal went between the defender's legs and into the bottom corner, so it was well taken. And maybe Leeds could have gone on to even win the game, but that's another story. For Liverpool, I actually think they did get lucky because they did win 2-1 against Newcastle, but it was in controversial circumstances. So what happened was there was 5 minutes of added time at the end of the game, but yet somehow the game ended up finishing on 98 minutes. Like, how the fuck does that happen? But anyway, that's not Liverpool's fault. The referee is in charge of the game, so they know what the fuck they're doing. So, anyway, I still think Liverpool are struggling this season. You know, they are creating chances, but they're not as sharp as they should be. And I think going into this one, I think they're going to struggle again. This will be a tough game. Either side could win it. I think it'll be a 2-2 draw. Next game up is Brentford and Leeds. This is another big game for both sides. For Brentford, they got a 1-1 draw against Palace, and they are another team that got lucky because I don't think they deserved any points out of that game, but fair play for getting something out of it. For Leeds, they got a 1-1 draw against Everton, as we were just discussing. A decent result. I think Everton, they've actually improved with every game they've played this season. So I think that is actually a decent result. And obviously, Rodrigo got injured in that game, so that is unfortunate for Leeds. I'm not sure how long he's out for, but it is a massive blow. But going to this one, this will be a tough game. Either side could win it. I think it'll be a 2-1 win to Brentford. Next game up is Chelsea and West Ham. This is a massive game for both sides. It's a London derby. For Chelsea, they have been really struggling this season, and I'm not really sure what's going on with them. Well, actually we do. They're really struggling in attack. Not only scoring goals, but also creating chances. But also, it seems like they're struggling in defense, which makes even less sense because of the players they have and the players they brought in. It's absolutely ridiculous. They have the best defensive coverage in the league by far. It's not even a question. Yet, they're conceding goals like no tomorrow. Absolutely ridiculous. An example of that is they lost in midweek to Southampton after leading. Absurd. And going to West Ham, I think they've actually arrested their poor start to the season. I think they didn't pick up any points in their first 3 games. Or was it the first 2? No, they didn't pick up any points in their first 3 games. Now they're going to pick up 4 points out of the last 6. So they're doing very well right now. I thought they would have lost to Tottenham in midweek, but they managed to get a point out of that game. And they probably should have gone on to win it, actually, because they were the better side. So it was probably just a bad start to the season, as teams can have. So now it looks like they're back to normal. But going to this game, this will be a tough game. Either side could win it. I think it'll be a 2-1 win to West Ham. Next game up is Newcastle and Crystal Palace. This is a tough game for both sides. Either side could win it. Newcastle were unfortunate to lose in midweek to Liverpool, but it's not really a big deal because at most they would have gotten a point out of that game. Well, actually, they could have nearly won it at the end, but let's just say at most they get a point out of the game and then they lose it. So really, they really lost a point. But when you look at it, it's 1 point versus 0. So people will forget about this and it's not a big deal. For Palace, it was a big deal dropping 2 points to Brentford because they should have won that game. But that's what happens in the Premier League. You know, you lose focus for a couple of seconds and, you pay for it. But going to this game, it's another game that either side could win. I think it'll be a 2-1 win to Newcastle. So, on to Nottingham and Bournemouth. What more can I say about Bournemouth? I don't know how the fuck they got a result in midweek. They had just lost 9-0 to Liverpool. Their confidence would have been on the floor. And their manager got sacked. So, this club is all over the place. Yet, they managed to get a 0-0 draw against Wolves. Absolutely ridiculous. But also, well done to Bournemouth. For Nottingham, I think they've had a good start to the season. Obviously, they lost to Tottenham 2-0 in midweek. So, well, actually, no, that was last weekend. They got hammered 6-0 by Man City. So, their confidence will be on the floor. They've lost their last 2 games. So, they might actually struggle in this game. But going into it, I think it will be a tough game. Obviously, we weren't expecting Bournemouth to have their manager sacked and also them getting a result against Wolves. I think it goes to show just how poor Wolves are doing this season. There's something going wrong with their attack because they're creating chances, but they're just not scoring goals. And now it's become a theme. Anyway, going back to this game, this will be a tough game. It'll be a close one. I think it'll be a 2-0 win to Nottingham. Next game up is Tottenham and Fulham. This is another massive game for both sides. It's another London derby. For Tottenham, weirdly struggling this season. I'm not sure what's really going on with Tottenham. Obviously, they drew 1-1 to West Ham and probably should have lost the game. But I think it goes even further than that. Going back to when they played Wolves, they got completely dominated. And they only had 1 shot in that first half. And it seems to be that Tottenham are a team that can sometimes dominate possession, but they don't create a lot of chances, which is massively concerning because as the season goes on, I think they're going to struggle more and more to create chances and score goals. So this is an issue that needs to be fixed ASAP. For Fulham, I think they're having a very good start to the season. Just have to mention that I think they've actually learned from the previous times they've been relegated from the Premier League. Of course, we're only 5 games into it, but they're looking very, very good. And right now, they're in the top 10, so thumbs up. And also, they beat Brighton in midweek, who, before that game, had only conceded 1 goal all season. So that is a massive thumbs up. So well done. Going into this game, this will be a tough game. Either side could win it. I think it'll be a 2-2 draw. Next game up is Wolves and Southampton. I think I just talked about Wolves before. They are really struggling to score goals. They should have beaten Bournemouth in midweek. They are one of the worst sides in the division right now. A team that conceded 9 goals to Liverpool. They also conceded 3 goals to Arsenal as well. And not to mention, I'm pretty sure they got beaten 3-0 by City as well. So they are conceding goals for fun. So the fact that Wolves couldn't even manage to score against them is somewhat a disgrace. For Southampton, surprise, surprise, they're having a decent season. Whenever we think Southampton are going to struggle and get relegated, they play well. So, massive props to them and Hasenhüttl for getting to play some decent football. But anyway, let's not waste any time. This will be a 2-0 win to Southampton. Next game up is Aston Villa and Man City. This will be a 3-0 win to Man City. Aston Villa are in massive trouble. I also think Steven Gerrard, as I mentioned in my last video, I think he's in trouble as well. We had our first managerial sacking of the season with Scott Parker, and I think Steven Gerrard could be next. Next game up is Brighton and Leicester. Brighton lost in midweek to Fulham, which was a surprise because they conceded 2 goals and lost the game. And for Leicester, I think they're in massive trouble. They picked up 1 point out of 15, which is shocking. Right now, they're rock bottom, which is hard to believe. I couldn't even find the words to even express what I thought about that situation. Or what I think about this situation. I think that this will be a close game, but I think it'll be a 2-1 win to Brighton. Next game up is Man United and Arsenal. So, 2 teams that are in form. They're playing decent football. Well, I don't think United are playing that well. I think they probably could have conceded against Leicester, and they probably should have conceded against Southampton as well. So, well done for getting maximum points in the last 3 games. But this is a massive test against Arsenal. Arsenal have won all their games this season, and they've, obviously, I think they've scored at least 2 or more goals in all their games, which is seriously impressive. Going into this one, this will be a tough game. Either side could win it. I think it'll be a 2-0 win to Arsenal. And that's about it.